Welcome to a More Beautiful World podcast with Susan Renee, a place for those of us with the desire to expand our consciousness, tap into higher vibrations of love, and to connect into a community where together we can make the world a more beautiful place. I'm so eager to share with you what I've learned on my journey in discovering how we're all connected and how what we do for one, we do for us all. Here, I'll be sharing my own experiences, knowledge, and expertise for how you can heal, transform, and ascend your being so that together we can create the more beautiful world we all know is possible. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of A More Beautiful World. Today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to make peace your priority. I feel that peace and finding peace is often overlooked and really put on the back burner. And I'm going to guess that you rarely, if ever, think about it. Which is why I'm going to share with you today why it's important to bring peace to the front and center of your needs and how you can ensure you are prioritizing it in your life. So if you're eager to learn how to feel less chaotic, less turmoil, less anxiety, less stress, and less frustration in your life, and you are ready instead to attain peace and to find and connect to inner peace and really make it your priority, then this episode is for you. So as always, let's start off with a few questions here and just do some self-reflection, right? So how often do you feel peaceful? And do you ever have moments where you even feel peaceful, right? Or when was the last time that you felt a moment of peace? I'm going to bet that when someone asks you, how you're feeling, you probably never or very rarely say, I'm peaceful. And why not? Right? Isn't peace something that we all really truly long for? I would argue yes, which is why we're talking about that in today's episode. And when I'm talking about peace here, I'm really going to be talking about inner peace and how we cultivate and find that peace within us. Right. So I'm going to take you through today why it's important to feel more peaceful in your life and the benefits of doing so. And I feel once you hear why it's important to have peace in your life, you'll hopefully agree that it's important to make it a priority. So after we talk through that, I'm going to, go through a few different steps that you can take to make peace a priority in your life. I'm going to be talking about how we can take care of some energy leaks and some energy drains in your life, where you might have space, opportunity to create space in your life and let go. And we'll also explore, simplicity and how inviting in simplicity into your life can really help you create more peace and tap into and cultivate that inner peace. Then I'm going to go through talking about how you can assess your life and take some inventory on what maybe feels peaceful and what doesn't. And of course, I'll be wrapping up the episode today, giving you ways that you can strengthen your peace, and keep it with you in the long run so you can continue to make it a priority. So what is peace, right? It's a great question, and I want to talk about that. And again, when I'm referring to peace today, I'm referring really to inner peace. I'm not talking about world peace or peace between countries, and really even world peace, right, begins with our own inner peace. And we're going to be focusing today on what can we do for ourselves, right? What can you do for you, right now, to find that inner peace and ultimately, right, help to beautify our world. So the dictionary would define inner peace as peace of mind, or a deliberate state of psychological or spiritual calm, despite the presence of any stressors. So they go on to say that being at peace is considered by many a homeostasis point, and it is the opposite of being stressed or anxious. Right. So when we're working on anxiety healing and trauma healing, peace is the opposite of that, right? So that's our end goal, it's our end state, which is why we want to make it a priority. So when we think about that definition, right, of peace, right, finding our calm despite any presence of the stressors, right, having it be this opposite of stressed and anxious, right? I think let's talk about why, right, it's important to find that, right, and what benefits you're going to have in making peace a priority and bringing it into your life. I think the first benefit, which was kind of right there in the definition, and it's pretty obvious, right? Peace is the opposite of feeling stressed. It's the opposite of feeling anxious. So, the number one benefit I would say you get by making peace your priority is that you are choosing to step away, right, from feeling stressed to feeling anxious. And instead of making that your existence, right, you're making it a priority to be the opposite of that, to feel more peaceful. And I feel like, because so many of you out there listening in, right, we are on this anxiety healing and this trauma healing journey together, knowing, right, that peace is the opposite of it. That's our goal, right? This alone, I hope, is going to encourage you to make peace your priority. But another few benefits that come up when we can cultivate that inner peace and tap into peace as an energetic vibration, it does create resilience, in your being. And so resilience is allowing you, right, to really show up in stressful situations without reacting, right, without overreacting, without breaking down. And it's really showing up with more strength. Right. So how can you show up with more strength in situations, more resilience, by having that connection to your inner peace? So another benefit you get from inviting peace into your life and having more peaceful moments and vibration, right, is you then can have more focus with your mind. You can focus more on solutions and become more solution oriented when you need to take action, right? When you're faced with a stressor or an anxious situation. So, as life comes to us, right? If we have more peace, instead of our minds going crazy, right? And chaos starts happening in the mind, we can stay more focused, right? We can stay more present with it. And again, come from a solution oriented space when we need to take action. Another benefit, right, of keeping that inner peace and connecting to your inner peace is you're able to be more patient. You're able to be more tolerant, and you have a lot more understanding and compassion, when things show up in life. And I think we can all agree, the world could use more patience, more tolerance, more understanding, more compassion. And again, that begins with you. So by connecting to your peace, you can become, again, more of these things, right? And just have more understanding for others, more compassion for others, and even more understanding and compassion for yourself. So another great benefit of making peace a priority and really connecting into it is it does improve relationships, right? So if you are more peaceful and more centered, it's going to reflect out into your relationships, right? There's going to be less friction, right? Less chaos, less drama in relationships. So it really does begin with you, and the energy you're going to bring into that relationship, right, is going to be improved if your energy and your vibration has increased and gone into that peaceful vibration. So another final benefit I'll put in here, it's more of a physiological and physical benefit. You'll get better sleep when you're more peaceful, right? And who doesn't want better sleep, right? Sleep is where we regenerate, our cells and detoxify. And there is so many benefits to getting a good night of sleep. So as you tap more into peace, you can start to sleep better. I'm sure all of you out there can relate to some of those sleepless nights where you're up, worrying about something, stressed about something, right? If you know how and have done, some things in your life to create more peace, there's going to be less middle of the night, wakenings with your mind running amok. So, lots of great benefits to peace. So, how do we get these benefits, right? We get them by making peace our priority, right? And really setting the intention that we want to invite in more peace in our lives. And we are done with the anxious, with the stressed out, with the frustrated feels, and we want more peace in our life. So as we set the intention, right? And if you're listening to this podcast, you obviously were interested in making peace your priority. So let's talk about how to make that happen, right? And I have a few steps that I want to talk through here about how we can, again, not just make it a priority, but really cultivate and make some changes in our life to have more peace. So I think a good starting point, in making peace your priority is ask yourself, where are you leaking out your energy, right? Where is some of your vitality being drained? And that's often in those spaces, in those places with those people that feel chaotic, right? So what is currently creating chaos or feeling chaotic, or a bit out of control in your life? And really what is taking away your peace right now? Take that maybe into a meditation, into some prayer, into a journaling exercise, and really see where you are, draining your peace. Because once you have, like in so many of the podcasts that we talk about, the awareness, right, around where you're losing your peace, then you can start to reclaim your energy, and ask yourself, these energy leaks, right, that are out there, where can I start to fill these leaks, right? Because you're going to start to have the awareness on what's draining you and taking away from your peace. And once you have the awareness, right, on where the energy leaks are, we can look to see what opportunities we have in those spaces to free up some room, right, and start to create space, let go of some of those energy leaks, plug those holes, right, let go of the chaos, the people, the relationships. And in that, we invite room for peace to come in, right? So step one, take an assessment. Again, I personally love journaling exercises for this and some self-reflection. And that really does help you to just expand your awareness. So you can, again, just start to notice and see where those leaks are. What is taking away from your peace right now? So once you've completed that step, I'm going to really invite you to, assess what feels good, and what needs to change. So now that you kind of have this, this list, maybe you made a list, maybe you made it out in a whole paragraph, maybe you just have it in your mind, whatever it might be, start to assess like what feels good and like what can you keep in your life, but what also needs to change. So now that you have this awareness, right, around it, you did step one, then you ask yourself, right, where am I maybe doing really good, but what also needs to change? And in that, I would invite you to look at, are you taking care of yourself? Or are you neglecting yourself in some of the things you're doing, right? And the way you're being. Do you have more things that you're doing in life right now that feel good? Or do you have more things that don't feel so good, that are more draining? So kind of just start to assess, right? And again, step one, you created this awareness, you figured out where you're losing your peace. Now look at not only where are you losing your peace, but what feels good and what opportunities you have to change, right? Because I think once you can really start to see your good areas, right, we can start to lean in and do more of that. And then when we think about what needs to change, when we have that awareness on it, right, or areas we're neglecting ourselves, because neglect is going to take away from your peace, then we can start to create a game plan, right, for inviting more peace in. So go through step one, go through step two. After that, what I would ask you to do in this next step is to look at some of those areas you identified that were maybe the energy leaks. You have some opportunities to do some letting go, to create some space. Now, what feels good, maybe what you want to keep and what needs to change. Then look for ways that you can invite simplicity into your life, into your routine. I think simplicity and peace can go hand in hand in some ways. They're very complementary to each other. And lately, I feel in life, so many of you out there are making life too complicated. Calendars are too full, right? We're constantly inundated with information from, social media, from others, from our email inbox, from work, right? All the text messages, right? All the communication that we're even getting, there's a lot of excess out there, and we're bombarded with a lot of stuff. And a lot of us do too much doing, right? Again, keeping these busy, really full calendars. And that in itself can create chaos and take away from your peace. So in looking at how you're living, how you're spending your days, how you're spending your time, all of the doing that you're doing, where can you invite in some simplicity? And so a first step in that is probably looking at where the excess fat is, in some of your routines, on your calendar, and just where can you let go of some shit, right? And just simplify. I even think about it like a simple example here, a simple example for inviting in simplicity. Look at your closet, and look at all your clothes and all your shoes, right? How much shit is in there, right? Same, you can look at your calendar too. Look at your social calendar, look at your work calendar. Look at how much shit is in there. Do you really need all of that in there? I'm going to say you probably have some excess that you can trim. So, looking again at ways to simplify, and look for opportunities where you can simplify, again, your calendar, your routine. Maybe it's simplifying your wardrobe. Again, some people get really stressed out by having cluttered houses and cluttered cabinets and drawers. And maybe the simplicity and the peace, comes from just de-shitting, some material things. But whether it be people, right? Whether it be activities, whether it be, again, just things on your calendar, right? Where is the excess fat? Where can you just invite in more simplicity to your routine? Simplicity will bring you more peace. Guaranteed. So look for ways to invite that in. Now, step 4, I think, is kind of overarching in some of this, but in the things that you do want to keep in, right? In your routine, people you want to keep in your life, things you still want to do, activities and experiences you still want to have. In that, where can you let go of expectations? A big part of the process of creating peace is to let go of expectations. Let go of attachments to outcomes. I find this is really where your peace can begin. Because so often we get really riled up and stressed out and anxious about, the outcome of a situation, or, what is this person going to think of me? Or I'm going to go do this experience and it has to go just perfectly, right? And I have to have all of this just laid out so perfectly. And if anything goes wrong, I'm going to be a hot mess, right? So I think that's a big part of anxiety too, right? Is, wanting to control and not being able to let go of the control of the outcome, right? Of the future. And we're worried about what might unfold in the future. So letting go of expectations and really stepping back and detaching from any outcomes brings in so much peace. If you go in simply with an intention of I'm just doing this because it feels good, and whatever outcome comes of it, like, so be it. It's a very peaceful way of being. It's a very peaceful way of going into the experience. I have a client right now who's working on going back out into the dating world. And we were talking about that. And, her intention with dating is simply just to meet people and to have new experiences. She doesn't have the expectation of she's going to immediately find the one, or, get married in 6 months. Like, she's totally let go of expectations, and she's just going in with an intention, right? Of really new experiences, new people. So doing your best in your life to look at ways and places and things where you can let go of expectations is going to help you bring in more peace. So when we talk about, making peace a priority, right? And doing some of these steps to really assess where you have opportunities to create more peace, I feel this last step here is really, how do we strengthen peace for long-term success, right? And how do you continue to really make it a priority? I feel that, continuing to assess, in your life and having some time for yourself to be alone, be in a quiet space where you can do some self-reflection is an important first step in strengthening your peace for long-term success. And look at, some of the changes you made. So let's say you go through kind of, these first 4 steps, and, you're a month in, 2 months in, right? Take another pause, take another assessment, and ask yourself, in these things that I'm now doing, and that I'm now, in ways I'm now being, do I enjoy it? Am I feeling more peaceful and calm? Do some of these changes feel sustainable? Am I going to be able to keep them up? Right? And I think a big thing here, as you are going through and checking in, right? Because making peace a priority, it's not a once and done, right? It is really going in with intention on a daily basis that you want to experience more peace. You're going to have to cycle back and circle back to some of these things and ask yourself these questions again. As I've done so much work over these last few years and healing anxiety and releasing trauma, I come back to this, very frequently, and do little assessments on my life, like what's feeling good, what's not feeling good. And what's creating peace, what's cultivating energy in my life, and what's draining it. Right. So make sure you're setting up time to come back to this process. But I also think that when we talk about strengthening, peace and really making peace a priority ongoing, a big question, is, are some of your activities, are they coming from a place of love, or are they coming from a place of like obligation or even punishment? Because that question right there is kind of a deeper level question of, is it a more peaceful vibe, or is it a more stressed and anxious vibe for yourself? So, asking, is this coming from a place of love, or is it coming from somewhere else? Can be a really good long-term success, because we always want to be coming from a place of love as we're making changes. So I would also say, when we're talking about long-term success, um, there are what I call our peaceful plant allies out there. And if you really want to make peace a priority for the long run, you've got to work with some peaceful plant allies. And when I say peaceful plant allies, what I'm talking about here is working with your diet, because what you eat is directly connected into how you feel. So, working with using food as medicine for your body is super important. And strengthening your peace, for long-term success. And I mean, we're eating every single day, right? So if you want to, right, improve your diet, right, have a healthier diet, a more nutrient dense diet, you are then making peace a priority every day because you're eating every day and you're choosing good, peaceful, peace cultivating foods. So another peaceful plant ally that I talk about and that I use in my practice is going to be herbs, right? There are a lot of beautiful plant medicines out there in the herbs space. Things like lemon balm and tulsi are two of my beautiful peaceful plant allies that you can bring into your life and learn how to use herbs that work specifically with you and your constitution, to keep your peace for the long run. And also to, again, like as you're bringing these into your life, into your routine, you're saying to yourself, to the universe, I'm making this a priority. And kind of the third bucket of the peaceful plant allies are some of the deeper plant medicines. So if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, some of the plant medicines out there, things like ayahuasca, things like wachuma, psilocybin, mushrooms, some of our psychedelic plant medicines. Not saying you have to do those every day, right? And they may not call to everyone, but, even going through plant medicine retreats, once a year or just taking a pilgrimage, for a plant medicine retreat can also be a way that you are strengthening, your connection to peace and making it a priority to do some of the deeper levels of work, and staying tapped into that vibration of peace more in the long run. So again, your peaceful plant allies are really helpful in strengthening peace for long-term success. And again, that's working with food as medicine, using herbs medicinally, and also some of the bigger hitters with our psychedelic plant medicines and doing some, retreat work there. So these steps, use these steps to make peace your priority. Invite in, do some assessment right now, get some awareness built up right now, and work through this process to, again, say, I'm making peace a priority in my life. I am inviting it in. And by simply setting that intention, you're already getting the momentum going. You're already getting the ball rolling. But I know if you will take these steps, you're going to feel more peaceful and you're going to be able to cultivate and connect into that inner peace. And it is so worth it. And not only is the peace worth it, you are worth connecting to that peace. You are absolutely worth it. So let's recap quickly here. Peace is powerful and it's important. Peace is a very high vibrational energy. It's a very high vibrational emotion. And it is the opposite, right, of feeling stressed, of feeling anxious, of feeling frustrated. So when we are on the journey, right, of healing anxiety and healing from trauma, peace is the goal. So we got to make our goal the priority. We got to make peace the priority. And I know you want the benefits of peace in your life. Like you want to feel less stressed, right? You want to feel more resilient. You want to have that clarity of mind and have better relationships. And hey, right, even better sleep. So again, check in on your energy leaks, right? Look at what's taking away from your peace right now. And then assess what feels good. Right? What feels good in life and what doesn't feel good? What are those energy leaks? What are those places that you can cut out? And as you cut them out, as you create space and let them go, then look at where you can invite some simplicity into your life, right? And look at the areas you have and opportunities you have to simplify. From there, remember to start letting go of expectations. Let go of expectations of others, let go of expectations of outcomes, to situations, and really give yourself some freedom there when you let go of those expectations. From there, remember you can strengthen your peace ongoing by, circling back to it maybe once a month, right? Diving deeper in, asking yourself some of those questions again. What is feeling good right now? Where do I still have opportunities to work on? And where can I even maybe invite in more joy, more love, more simplicity into my life? And then remember in that space too, you can bring in some powerful plant allies to assist you in creating that peaceful vibe for yourself. And I am sure if you take these steps, that I shared, if you take them to heart and you put them into practice, right? You do have to do some work here. You're going to be making peace a priority in no time. So, tribe, let's remember this is all about making the world a more beautiful place. And that begins with you. Because as you better yourself and you move through your healing and your transformation journey, you are working to also beautify our world. So I hope you found this episode helpful, and I appreciate you all for being on this healing journey with me. As always, if you need support on your journey, as you're healing from the anxiety, from the trauma, make sure you grab your clarity call with me. Would love to see you on my calendar. And of course, I'd be honored to guide you on your healing and your transformation. So that is all for today, tribe. Mwah! Much love to you all. Until next time. Hey, tribe. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this podcast, make sure to like the video below and then click subscribe so you never miss an episode. And remember, I've got lots of free resources available to you to support your healing, transformation, and ascension so you can help in making this a more beautiful world for us all. Make sure you check them out in the description below. Thanks again for tuning in, tribe. And until next time, much love to you all.